All right, everybody. If you're ready for a new season, let's go. Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. Welcome. Can you believe it? We are back. We are back. And we're not only back, we're back with a vengeance. We have a great show today. I honestly, it's like, I can't believe it. But my guest is fantastic. Marty King Young, currently working on the hit TV show Will Trent. She is Emmy-nominated executive producer. She's who she's working with, Ellen Marie Blum, on the ABC 20th television hit series Will Trent. Here's the deal. Marty's amazing. She is a filmmaker. She's a screenwriter, an award-winning filmmaker and screenwriter. She has been, everywhere. And I want you guys to really get to know who she is. She has some amazing things on the horizon. One of the films that she did, Wonder Boy, we're going to talk about that. My gosh, absolutely incredible. But we'll go through more of her intro. She sent me her bio, and it's so long. I just want to get to it. Please make welcome my friend, Marty King Young. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so sorry. You were like, send me a bio. And I was just like, here, this is all I have. I'm so sorry.
I was like, I'm reading it and I'm just like, you know what? Let's just get to it. Can we? You were so phenomenal. Here's one of the things. Oh, and I was going to mention this and I forgot to. You along with a screenwriter for The Chosen.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
Tyler?
Tyler, another one of your colleagues. I forget his name. Or no, I'm sorry, her name. I forget what show she works on. Anyway, you guys not only have a retreat where you teach these amazing, insider secrets and, how to get your show going, what to do, how to write it, all this, not only with this retreat that I think the last one happened in Greece of all places.
Yeah.
You're on TikTok every day. Wisdom with Scout, which I love. Oh my gosh. Taking time out of your day, working on a hit TV show to give these secrets to screenwriting. I don't know about you, but I'm older than you are, and we didn't have this sort of access to any of this knowledge. You had to sink or swim and learn along the way.
Yeah.
And I remember there were these classes or schools. Mm-hmm. Some of them were absolute BS, but some of them, you'd go to, let's say you couldn't afford 80 grand a year at NYU, right? You'd go to these classes and, get this knowledge. And if you weren't taking classes and skipping out on your job as an actor, really your job is auditioning. You were just not in it really. And here we are, 2025, Marty King Young worked on Kevin Probably Saves the World. And I can't believe Dustin's a good friend. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Jason Ritter. When I first had my heart issue, Jason helped us out when we really needed it.
I love him. He is just such a genuine person.
Isn't he?
If you went to the dictionary and looked up good person, I swear it's got to have his picture next to it. He's just an angel. I just cannot say enough. I loved working with him. My son got to work with him on Raising Dion, and he would always ask about me. Yeah, like how was I was doing. I mean, he's just a sweet, genuine person. Like he saved a dog while we were filming. I mean, it's just like he's chef's kiss. Everything I would want to be in a good person.
He is a well. When I was in Hollywood, and you'll know this to be absolutely true. His dad was just.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put it this way. When you're hanging out with your friends and you're cussing and you're saying things that probably are inappropriate. No, actually are super inappropriate. Hopefully there's not a hot mic somewhere, and all of a sudden Mr. Ritter walks in because it's Mr. Ritter and you button up, don't say anything because he just was an awesome guy. Like Jason really got an opportunity to be around his dad.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't get a better role model. And then you go back and who was, with John, Tex Ritter, everybody loved Tex, like back in those days. So, Marty, I say all these things and we're touting other people because those people, they tend to work with people they know and people that they know are good. Tara Butters, for example, and all of these people.
Mm-hmm.
You're in that crowd, you're in that circle, which says a ton about who you are. So, Marty, I've been trying to get you on the show forever, and I appreciate the fact you wanted to see if it was really any good.
Oh, that was not the reason. I was always busy.
No, Marty, it's such an honor. No, really, it's an honor for you to come on, and just thank you so much. And my wife got to be a stand-in in a certain film back there, But anyway, Marty King Young, you light up everywhere you go. So thanks for doing the show.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me. And thank you for continuing to ask me every time. I'm like, I'm so busy. I'm so sorry. And you're like, okay, maybe next year. You've always so thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate people who don't give up on me.
Oh gosh, wow. No, I would never have in the first. You're just, and it's we've had some really great people on the show, like really, and I think and again, sorry, with my show we're red letter friendly, so it's just me, but God has been really good to this show, and people that really want to do it, and you're just and you're among them, and a list in and of yourself. So thank you so much. So you have, I remember when Wonder Boy was more or less a concept, right? And you would hint at it, at certain times. Well, I got this, well, I got that, and then people got to see inside of your life, really. You know,
they really did.
And so, to tell us about that, like sort of how it evolved and what made you want to do it, because I know, I mean, he loves movies.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Elijah Haney, who plays Wonder Boy, is my son. He's on the autism spectrum, and he wanted to write when he was 12, he had gone through some really hard stuff, and he could not understand. In autism, you think very black and white, and this is a very gray world. And he did not understand that. So he created Wonder Boy to have constant justice and everybody, just everything, truth versus lies. And it's very clear in what Wonder Boy was. So he created Wonder Boy when he was 12 to help him navigate these waters over here. And so when he was 16, he said he wanted to write this movie. So I wrote it with him. And he took it to his school, and they said that they would do it because he was in a media, like a film class. And so they said they would do it. Last week of school, the whole school is going to help him make this movie. And I was like, yes, go with God, because I was doing my other things. And he came home the last week of school, absolutely sobbing, bawling his eyes out. Tennessee, we were living in Nashville at the time. Tennessee had moved their subsidized testing to the last week of school, and they just told him, no, you can't do that. So if anybody's out there that has autism on their plate for a family member, you just can't do that to somebody on the autism spectrum. There has to be some sort of, at least in my world, there has to be some sort of give and take and everything. So, and he doesn't cry often. So he came home and was sobbing about it. And I made me mad. I called him up and I was like, hey, what's going on? I'm going into mama bear mode. And they were like, oh, sorry, there's nothing we can do. So I said, well, Elijah, lucky for you, mama makes movies. So I had been making films in Nashville by that time for about 10 years. I had done a lot of sweat equity. I had helped people out. I had secured locations for people. I had introduced people. I had done all the things. So I was like, all right, I'm calling in every single favor known to man. And I did. So when you see the mayor's office, it's really the mayor's office, and had a great DP came on board, Alan Brazel, and he loves visual effects. He had always wanted to do like this 1960s Batman thing. And so we did it. It took 4 months to film because we would film on the weekends because he was in school. And
these little things.
Yeah, it's little things. And Elijah wanted to be very involved. So he helped me cast everybody. He chose the scores for the music with Christopher Gentle, who I love. It was our composer, because he said he wanted it to be The Incredibles meets James Bond, and we got it. And from there, I just remember filming the stunt sequence and sitting back and watching all of these people and all of our stuff with the visual effects that we had to do, and thinking, this is really magical. Like something really huge is going to come out of this. There was just a feel like an electricity in the air. And so we wrapped. It took about another 2 years for all of the visual effects because he wanted some Marvel special effects in there, which we did. And then they got to see it at his graduation, I think, or like the graduation party that they had. And we had a premiere, which was awesome. Like almost all of Nashville came out. It looked like it was standing room only. If the fire marshal had come in, we probably would have gotten in trouble. We did this Q&A.
He'd have been fine with it.
Oh yeah. Sure. But and I started submitting it to film festivals, and it went.
Wait a minute. You did a Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
And so what was that like? Like I can imagine there were, several questions, but what were the questions like?
The questions were like, who came up with the idea for the film? So Elijah got to answer that. There was a lot of, how much did it cost? And so we sort of kept that under wraps because there was a lot of people who were donating things when, we try to be, and they still charge other people. So, we have to be quiet.
Say a lot, less than some, more than others.
Yeah. There was questions about that. There was questions about, did Wonder Boy do his own stunts? And I was like, yes, he did. But we did have a stunt coordinator on staff. We had a lot of like how much green screen was done. And I was just the opening credits had the green screen and the closing credits. We had an aspiring comic book artist reach out, and those are actually his drawings at the end that he did. Yeah. Then Allie worked his magic to do how they all watercolored out and everything. It was really, really cool.
I would have hoped someone would have asked this question so you guys would be able to answer it and slay it. Are you ready?
I'm ready for the question.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Question is, how in the world would someone with autism be able to do this and get it done?
That was not a question.
Right, because nobody was brave enough to ask it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? How does that happen? Well, I'll tell you how it happens. We kick some major ASS. That's how it happens. Yeah,
for sure.
Right?
I mean, it was never a secret. I mean, I was like, he's on the autism spectrum, and we made this movie. And the stance that I've taken since then is this movie proves that inclusion is possible.
Yes.
This proves that no one is a throwaway, this movie proves that, you know, if someone will just give you a shot, you can do it. And that goes for anybody in any industry. You know, special needs people and people with disabilities make up less than 1% of the workforce. So this was a huge thing for me to be able to present. And it's actually, I have actually shown this to MGM. I've actually showed this to ABC, I think, at one point. But because of this film, I've been able to get people with disabilities and special needs hired onto film industry projects, because I'm like, this is the proof, you know, I mean, you have this awesome opportunity to be able to help these people achieve their dreams in a way where these doors are usually closed to them.
Well, I mean, they're closed to all of us. Let's just be real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's no open door unless, you know, there is a significant bloodline chain. You know, I don't want to say Nepo baby and any of that, because give me a break. In every industry, there's a lot of that, and that's okay. It's fine. I would want, you know, my son to take over anything I have, and yeah, it's because he's my son. You know what I mean? So I'm not worried about that. But the fact is that the doors are closed to all of us all the time, and we have to kick them open. But if you're someone on the spectrum or with special needs and know you have a talent and know you want to do something, but instead of the door being like it is for us, it's a safe, right?
Yeah.
And you can't kick it open. You got to have people there with you holding the blowtorch going, we're getting in this sucker.
Yeah. It's true.
You know?
It's totally true.
And I love that. I see it's the underlying thing. And here's the deal. And the reason I ask that, it's because, you know, we can call things as they are, particularly when they're obvious. But the point is that, you know what? That's what's possible. That's what can happen. Look at this. The door was closed. I pitched this to everybody, and yeah, I was butting my head against the safe, and I have the mark to show it. But now that I got in, told you.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a really hard time with people telling me, especially, you'll never be able to do that. And I'm all like, first of all,
please.
Who said?
Please tell me that.
My thing
yes.
is, I refuse to make someone else's words my cage. So why should someone else's words be other people's cages? And if you take off these parameters, these binders that people put on people, these tethers that say, no, you can't do that. And you go, well, why not? Why can't I try?
Why can't I do it?
No, the answer is always no until you try. And that's just me. I mean, I already had a no walking in and talking to the people at MGM. I already had a no.
It's already a no.
They took the idea and they apparently hired 3 people for their thing. That's fine. That's fine. I wasn't looking for a handout. I wasn't looking for payment. They had asked me how I implemented these things. I told them, they took off with it and they hired people. Great. That's what it was all about. That's all it, you know, that's all it was all about.
Yeah. And that's the other thing, particularly when people are in entertainment, or I'll put it this way. When people are just starting, they don't understand that, you know, that advice, unpaid advice, will pay off later. They don't you know what I mean? I mean, for example, we were talking just a little bit ago, like, you owned a casting company. You know, you were a casting director. And, you know, let's do it. Is that okay? Let's ask some questions.
Let's do it.
So for an actor, actress getting in to the business, you know, first of all, you have to have an agent. But, you know, even going into getting the agent, what should they do? How should they do it? And how should they act? Because that's another thing. Etiquette, manners, for some reason, has not been a strong suit for,
it's huge.
You know.
Yeah.
So what do they need to do?
Well, for starters, I suggest, and I know you didn't know about this, but I actually wrote a book about this, and it's on Amazon for free for Kindle downloads called Help, I Have an Audition, Now What? Please download that book, because if you are
download that book and make sure that you send me $50 and we'll make sure that you get the free access. So bad. So bad. But I'm just saying, I used to be in the entertainment business.
That's hilarious.
No, go ahead.
No, okay.
So it's on Amazon. Help, I Have an Audition. You can get it for free. Erica, would you mind downloading that on the iPad? Help, I Need an Audition.
Help, I Have an Audition. Now what?
Help, I Have an Audition. Now what? You know, Marty, that'd have been great info. And it's been how many years? And I had no idea about this. Can you go ahead and do that, Erica? Thanks.
Well, it's free. So people wouldn't download it because it's free. They don't think it has any time.
Oh my God, let's talk about that. Unbelievable. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. So if you're just starting out and you're an actor, the first thing you are definitely going to need is a good headshot with a solid background, not a picture on your phone, not a picture outside with a river or mountains behind you, not an AI picture either, by the way, because they'll figure it out the moment they see you. You need a photo with really great lighting, with a solid background. And the secret is blue, the color blue. If you're wearing blue, it books better. So
it books better. Okay.
Yeah. So I suggest wearing blue. I'm not going to be the clothes police. You can do.
So how about that? Would that be good? Is that a good headshot?
Oh my gosh. You know, I've had people actually send me stuff like that too. And I was like, get out of my office. Yeah.
Well, okay. So is there a particular kind of blue? Like I got navy blue on. Would that be okay?
Fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. And you want to keep it kind of neutral. We're not trying to sell a brand. You're the brand.
Yeah. As long as what pops against the background is your face and not your clothes. You don't want prints. It needs to be solid.
And so
go ahead.
Okay. So we're not talking black and whites anymore.
Those are
got to be color.
Plays.
Those are for stage plays. We have to keep it traditional. You know, I'm with stage, you know, if you're going to be, you know, and your dream is to be an equity actor, I just think might as well, you know, get an artist to sketch you like one of Jack's French girls. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Stage is the last to do anything.
That's what
I
need.
mean.
That's what I need.
Okay.
I need.
So you got
one of Jack's French girls.
Draw me like one of your French girls, Jack. That'd be great.
Hilarious.
So, okay. So we got the headshot, right? And we got the resume. Now, what would someone put on a resume?
So I would start reaching out to your local colleges for film that have film schools. And I would start auditioning for them and getting some short films under your belt. You're not going to just sit there and say, I was, you know, Fagin and Oliver in high school and then throw it out there and somebody be like, oh, cool, I'm going to book him. They don't care about that. They care about you being on a set and seeing how many sets you've been on, because they want to know if you're working, because if you're continually working, you're easy to work with and they like that. And you don't have a bad reputation. So if there's a particular, you know, gap, if you want to say that, and there's not a real reason for it, they're gonna stop and look at that. But I would start with the student films and get your name out there like that, because you're not going to be able to get an agent until you have a resume, and you're not going to have a resume.
Have an agent
in some things.
That's right. It's that catch-22 that nobody likes to talk about.
Yeah.
Now this goes for, you know, what we would consider to be kids, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then folks that are my age and older, you know, maybe they still have that dream and they want to do it.
Yeah.
This is the same advice that you'd give them as well.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Okay. So you got all that. You're doing the student films. Man, I'm working. I'm doing the thing. And you get in front of your agent. What do you do?
So, well, I mean, it depends. Is this just usually you can ask them for a meeting so you can meet. Right. I suggest, okay, so this industry.
Would this be okay if I go? Hey.
Well, I didn't cast those kind of films. So
I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that. That's so terrible. Okay.
You're beat.
Not random. Those films. Other.
So yeah. So
it's regular.
This industry has a tendency to chew people up and spit them out. Mm-hmm. In this industry, of course, you have, high risk, high rewards, and everybody's looking for, obviously, the high rewards. You're not always going to get that. So if you go into a meeting with, say you've been querying around town, I'd like to have, I'd like to schedule a meeting with this agent when I'd like to talk about joining or whatever. And you finally get a meeting after you've been rejected like 20 times. And they're like, okay, sure. Now there might not be the best agent in the town. And just because they offer you a piece of paper that says I'd like to sign it, doesn't mean you should. Because there is, if you have, and this is in any form or fashion in this industry at all, if you have any form of desperation oozing from you, everybody can smell it and everybody will exploit you. So if you're just like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll do that. I'll do whatever you want. And all of a sudden they're like, okay, I'm going to send you over here. And you're just getting background work from this agent. And you're like, hello, I'm not getting any speaking parts. After about 6 months to a year, you can sit there and go, I need a better agent. And you can start shopping around. But don't be desperate and don't, just don't be desperate.
What's a big deal, and it's really interesting too when you say the desperation, because like and there's a career show, right? So when people go into an interview to get a job, if you're desperate, they won't hire you. Mm-hmm. That's a 6-figure bill that nobody wants to pay unless they're paying for something that's going to make them more money, right?
Right.
In entertainment, if they smell that desperation, they'll take up. Oh yeah. I mean, this will be the easiest. What is it now? The 25% now or 15% for a while? It's 20.
I think well, you know what? Wait.
Well, for non-union, is it 20?
I think so. I don't.
And then for union, what is it? It's 10, right?
That sounds right.
Yeah. So it'll be the easiest. However, it'll be the easiest money they'll make. I'm just going to send them everywhere. Because they don't have to do anything. They're just background and it's good, easy money.
Right.
So you know what I mean? That's there's a difference in that. Okay.
So when you're if you do sign with an agent and then they send you to a casting director, don't freak out. My thing is like, don't freak out. Believe it or not, when you walk into that room, the casting director is hoping and praying that you're it. That because they want to quit, they want to stop the search.
We're done.
So if you go inside and you're like, oh my God, I hope they like me, you're giving off this frenetic energy and they can feel it. But if you walk in and you're like, I'm the answer to your problems, okay, let's go. It's a different, it's a different energy.
Totally different energy, totally different, and again, these are sort of basics, but these are the things that get you work. And these are what we're talking about. They weren't available to us.
Right.
I mean, so, all right. So then, okay, you got the good agent. They put you in front of the casting director. Casting director says, man, you're awesome. Book, you're on set. What do they do now?
What do you mean? What do they do now?
Well, okay. So I had a really, really, really good friend. She's a casting director. Her name was Denise Deonda. And she actually got me my first gig for Breyer's Good Humor when we were trying to save Viennetta. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, I was a child actor, but I had also done a lot of theater and with different, traveling companies in California. And obviously high school and all that, right? So I am the schmookies, right? And she always told me, this is on the auditions, I asked her, what should I wear? And this is what I tell people going to interviews. I say, listen, they can always tell you to dress it down, but they will never tell you to dress it up. And so then she sort of when I was on set, she always used to tell me they can always tell you to tone it down, but they'll never tell you to bring it up. They'll just get rid of you. They'll fire you. And what she meant by that is know your lines, yes, sir, and no, sir, until somebody says stop, and be respectful.
Yeah. It's a big deal to have good etiquette on a set and to stay in your lane too, because we've had extra, not on my show. I've worked on other shows where we've had extras or background or even day players.
Literally an SNL episode. Or
just coming. Yeah, Key and Peele with the extra.
Yeah.
Don't hand. Like I was actually working on a movie once, and the film had the guy was coming down the end of this driveway. There was a fence here, and we were like a mob, right, trying to yell at these people. And on the other side, there's a gate. On this side of the fence was the director and the camera crew, because they were filming the guy coming this way when we were just on the side, right? And so I was hanging back and watching everything, and I see this guy in the back of the mob pull out a file folder, and I'm like, oh no, you don't do that. And so I intercepted him and I said, hey, they're going to escort you off the set. I don't know what this is, but I can almost guarantee I do. Don't give this to anybody here. Okay. Don't. If you want this to get around, I said, you're going to have to go to the AD trailer and ask the ADs to go and deliver it to whomever you're trying to give it to. That's the correct way to do this, but don't do whatever it is you're about to do. And he was just like, stupid girl, that sort of thing. And I was just
and then he got escorted out. Go for it. Yeah.
So
go ahead.
He walks up and they're about to yell. The director's talking to the actor through the gate, and the actor walks away to go take his mark, and he sticks through the thing and he goes, hello.
No, he didn't.
He goes, I'm an actor and I can be in your next show, and here's my resume. And the director is just like, and he turns to the AD and he just goes, take care of this. And then and the AD just pushes it back at him and he just goes, get off the set. You're fired. And I was just like, you're such an
idiot.
Why? You listen to people. I mean, why? It's really, would you want somebody doing that to you? Now imagine you're like at a Christmas dinner with your family. Would you want a complete stranger walking up, pulling up a chair and starting telling you about their life? No. Who are you?
Have it right in front of you. Well, and then what I did here, and I was really into.
Yeah. And also, it's not even about a relationship with the person. It's, I want you to give me something. It's just give me. It's so parasitic. And
how important is that? How important is the whole relationship aspect to all of this? Can you talk to that?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way that I work best. Okay. Like now, granted, you will walk onto productions and people are hired to do certain things and they don't like each other and they don't get along, and that's fine. Whatever. They still have to be professional and they still have to deal with each other. And usually they do. For me, I prefer to make sure I can vibe with people so we're all on the same page. I'm a very positive person anyway. I like to think that I like draw out goodness in people because I sort of have them inadvertently make them come up higher to where they already are, if that makes any sense.
And you do, and absolutely do that.
You're so sweet.
That's a fact.
But to have a relationship with a person is a lot, it's a lot easier. Like for instance, I had a general meeting with a certain production studio head. Okay. I'd never met this person, and it's a pretty good studio, right? So I did a little bit of research and found out that this person had worked for a company that was based in Nashville, and my children knew their children. So I was able to, we started talking, and we talked about that. And I was just like, do you know that your kid gave my kid a video of your production and you guys signed it? So thank you so much for that. And I was like, oh my God, really? Yeah. So we created this relationship, and now we have this open door thing. It wasn't because I was stalking him. It was just because I was doing research on who I was going to talk to. another time, again, another studio head, we're talking and it's very cordial. We're just sort of feeling each other out and everything. And I made I got distracted for a second, literally a squirrel moment, because a squirrel like ran into the window. And I was like, oh my God.
It was an actual squirrel.
Yeah, I was like, we have squirrels. And he's like, oh my God, I hate squirrels. We've got 2 red ones that and we just bonded over squirrels. So now we send each other these memes about squirrels. So
you need to send him some Buc-ee's merch.
He knows. He knows. Buc-ee's.
Well, I guess it's a beaver, but same thing. Whatever. Anyway.
I mean, come on. I mean, it's a rodent that makes money. So who doesn't like that, right, Disney?
Oh, and it is the Disneyland of the road trip.
It's
like
my I would Galleria.
Gas station Galleria. I love. Well, wait. So the reason I'm talking about that is, there is this, especially now, conspiratorial stuff and Hollywood's this and Hollywood's that. It's all relationships, right? Mm-hmm. It's all that's any business, every business. It's all relationships. Now on the music front, I probably shouldn't tell this story, but I had a friend of mine. I was introducing my other friend at this really big concert with a really big band, like generational. I only have to say one word and the song will be playing in your head along with the catalog. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And their bass player, and one of the lead singer is the uncle of my friend who I was introducing, son.
Okay.
Now the bass player for me, I'm a guitar player, but the bass player was like, the guy is a legend, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he is exactly how you think he is. He's amazing guy. So, and after he gets off stage, and I understand this, you're vibing. Assistant puts his robe on, he comes straight up to us, and he goes, "Hey, bro, how you doing? I said, "Man, I'm doing good. He goes, "Oh, you got the iPad? Oh, wait, hold on. Oops, wrong button." He goes, "I said squirrel moment." That was awesome. He goes, "Oh man," he said, "You got the iPad good, huh? I like the iPad too, man. I got this iPad and it's really good." I said, "Yeah, man, I like this iPad." We started sort of chit chatting over that, and so he goes, "Hey man, you want to take a picture?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So taking a picture, and then my friend that was with us, he's also in a band. He was also one of the founding members of another band that you would know the name. Like you would know.
We need to sidebar.
At least the song. We're definitely going to sidebar. But he has a bunch of his new stuff with him.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so my new friend, legend, who we're vibing over an iPad, asked me, he's sweating. Like, I mean, he just got through doing a 90-minute show.
Okay.
We're vibing over an iPad. My other friend gives him a stack of CDs and his a promo photo from the album that he previously had. Kid you not.
No.
And he goes, "Hey man, we listen to this, man. Listen, this and that." And I'm just sitting here going like, for real? Like, and I looked at my friend that I had just sort of bonded with, and I just looked at him like this. I went, and that was it. And then the after party, he didn't even you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now there's another guy in the band that I became really good friends with, but at that point it was like, and it was repellent.
I mean, it's literally just here. See what I mean? It's
right
here.
See what
it's like
look what I can do.
That guy who owes you money,
yeah,
or he's always bumming money from you.
Right.
And you're just like, I don't want to talk to that guy because he's bumming money from me all the time, or he's always asking for money. It's that. It's such a parasitic vibe. And people,
it's
and again, it comes across as desperate because they're just like, this is the only time I get to see you. This is the only time. Well, you know what? Make a memory with that person and ask if you can follow up with an email. Make a memory with that
1000%.
person. Follow up, like, here's my, hey man, I found that, I know about this article. I can't remember right now. Can I get your email? I will send you the article. I'm not going to sell your information. I'm not going to TMZ. I'm not doing anything like that, and they're like, yeah, sure. Or whatever, I mean,
right.
That's all you need to do. People think that this is such a sprint and it's a marathon and you have to train and you have to, there is sweat equity involved. And the sweat equity is, making yourself available for people, and ignoring yourself in order to play the long game. And the long game is, I just want to get to know this person better. And if that's not where your head is, if it's literally, if you're in the headspace of, I just want to get to know this person so they can do my stuff, you're in the wrong thing, because the person that you're talking to right there, they might not even do the genre that you're going for, but they know people who do that genre and they'll help friends. So you need to make friends, because friends help friends. And it is a very Nepo baby business, but it goes for friends too, like.
But I always tell people there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
There's a reason that it is that way. And it's because, you're coming recommended.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, and that's another thing. You want somebody to recommend you for something and they've never worked with you before. In this industry, we will not do it. We will not recommend anybody that we have not worked with before, because there's an etiquette. There's a lot of other things to do.
Well,
like, are you freaking crazy? Are you?
Well, yeah.
Can you get the work done? Do you freak out under pressure? Do you?
Did you see the show that I did with Dustin?
Mm-mm.
So we were talking about this thing, and he goes, he said when he booked Kevin, or Kevin probably, I guess I should say, when he booked Kevin probably, he had people go, hey man, I mean, did you tell him about me? Like,
yeah,
is there a spot for me?
Yeah.
And he goes, I'm barely here. Like,
He was. Bless him. I love him so much.
He goes, I'm barely here. No, I didn't, Yeah. And Dustin, that guy.
Who is he gonna tell? The cast don't get to cast. Like,
exactly.
It's
what I mean?
Writers don't get to cast. I can't tell you how many times as screenwriters I keep getting hit up with, I just auditioned for Will Trent. Well, that's great. I don't talk to casting. I just see the deal memos when they come over.
Right.
I just file those away.
It's like, I get you where you're coming from, but just chill.
Mm-hmm.
Dustin, another great guy. I mean,
I adore him.
That guy, he's become a good friend, and I love Dustin.
I do too.
And he really is like happy. Oh, he got engaged. Him and Christy finally got engaged. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But he goes, I'm really happy for people when they book. He goes, my friend just booked the Super Bowl commercials last year. He goes, my friend booked the Super Bowl commercial. I'm like, that's super cool, But he goes, when I book, suddenly I'm hit up by everybody. And we're all doing it, to pay bills, right? So stick with me, Marty. We got to pay a bill real quick. All right. And you're going to love this.
I am.
I might go through all of them just to get it, so we can get them out of the way. If you have anything, everything, and anything related to video that you want documented, get in touch with White Husky Films. In fact, we started this show with White Husky, and there's a lot of things you can do with them. My gosh, check this, Marty. We're actually booking clients to advertise in Times Square, like those big billboards. It's super dope. It really is.
I want to advertise.
You want to do it?
Where?
I would love that. I would have Marty.
I would just The Adventures of Wonder Boy.
Well, and you never know what could happen in the future, and marketing budgets can go very, very good. I'm just saying. But if you have something like that you want to advertise, get in touch with White Husky Films. The what do we call it now? The URL is on the screen running, White Husky Films. Here's the thing. It's very simple what you got to do. You got to dream, you got to create, and you got to record in that order. And when you choose White Husky, you will be so glad you did. Now, check this out. Jane's Physical Therapy is one of the sponsors of this show. I'm actually, and I have been helping them get qualified, awesome physical therapists. They are growing by leaps and bounds. It is incredible. And I'm putting my recruiting hat to work. I'm just not a podcast host. I'm also an HR guy. Anyway, get in contact with me. We are still hiring, okay, and growing by leaps and bounds. In fact, we're looking at probably 9 physical therapists, and then for every 2 or 3, we're going to need PTAs, and just in the Lafayette area. And we're talking Lafayette area. We're talking Jennings, Louisiana, to Crowley. So pretty cool area. Get in contact with me. Get in contact with me at 713-364-8777. You can get a hold of me on LinkedIn or just smoke signal, just shout. Just, hey, Brad, I'm here. And also we are going to colleges. So we've been doing career fairs, and we've been doing lunch and learns. Home health is something that people, they don't talk about in schools. So get in contact with me. We are good to go, and you're going to have a lot of fun. And also, just for an honorable mention, Puente Coffee. They're great. Oh, hey, Erica, are you around? Hey, oh, there you are. Could you get me the can of Puente real quick? They were a travel sponsor, and guess who hooked me up with them? Ken Spera. So we're talking about relationships, right? Ken Spera, and Ken. He was the creator of the Geico Gecko. He did the Serta Sleeping Sheep. Name a character. And you know what's funny? I see all of these different characters that are trying to sell insurance, like the Emu. That's because of Ken Spera. And he hooked me up with Puente Coffee. As we're going to get the can over here pretty quick, as soon as we possibly can. That's fine. Puente Coffee. If you are in the Austin area, they have a really, really cool, a truck. No, not a truck, a trailer. Like one of those from the 70s.
Like a food truck?
Yes, because they have food there, but it's like a travel trailer, like those tiny travel trailers.
Yeah, okay.
Not an Airstream, but like a Winnebago. Giggity.
Not. I don't like those kind of movies.
I'm sorry.
Jeez. I'm
just saying.
Jeez.
Well, so anyway, go to no, this is so terrible. Austin area, Puente Coffee Company. You can get a hold of them on their Instagram at Instagram at Puente Coffee Coffee Co.
Oh my God,
that was awesome.
That was the Dalmatian. I am so sorry. I'm putting it on mute.
That's okay. I love that. Get a hold of them. Puente Coffee Company. Incredible. You're going to love them. They are incredible. We'll put them here. How about that? Put them there. Why not? They get a spot right there. But we're talking about relationships, that the reason that they are even in my sort of stratosphere is because of Ken Spera. And I've known Ken for well over a decade. And, so that's what we're going for. And so go to Puente Coffee, and you can go to their website. Just Google Puente Coffee, because I don't know what their website is, but Google Puente Coffee and order from them. Okay, we're done with that.
By the Dalmatian. It's approved by Dalmatians. So
I love that.
I mean,
I love that. We love dogs. We love, it's good. I love that. Okay. So, screenwriters, you have an amazing retreat.
It's not mine.
But you're in it. You're on it. You're on the board.
I'm one of the mentors.
Yeah. And you're able to, we'll put it this way. It's not cheap, but it's worth it. Nothing, right? Nothing in our lives. Salvation, it's free, but it ain't cheap. This is not free and it's not cheap, but it's worth it. It's worth it. If you look at things where it's like, it's a drop in the bucket compared to what you're not going to get if you don't go, it's just an amazing thing. How did you get hooked up with that?
Well, actually, when I wrote and directed White Talon City, which is right behind you over there.
White Talon City.
Yep, White Talon City. One of the producers that came out, her name was Kathy Yannick, and we just hit it off. And she's lovely, and I adore her, and her sisters too. And we just became friends. And first season of Will Trent, she hit me up and she was like, I really wish that you could come out and work on this retreat with me. And I said, when is it? And she told me, and I said, oh, I'll be wrapped by then. So she hired me as a mentor to come out and mentor these amazing writers. And it's in Greece, in Patmos, Greece, which was really cool. So yeah, it was like
so cool.
5 or 6 days. We got to go to the Cave of the Apocalypse. What was really cool,
isn't it?
Yeah. So we got to go into this cave, and the Orthodox priest that was there let me put my hands where there's an indention in the rock. So he let me and that's where John would do all of his writing. And he let me put my hands on it. And so I was like, please, God bless me as a writer. Please, if I he wrote the book of Revelations, and please bless me too. I have a picture of me there.
I love that.
But my students have gone on to win awards, to get into writers labs, to get into all these wonderful things. So it's been really fun. I love it because we all bond together. We also, again, because it's a relationship at this point, we're still friends. They can email me at any time, and they'll send me some of their pages, and I'll look at them, and things like that. So it's really, really cool. Jennifer Grisanti goes. She's an executive, and she's real huge in the screenwriting world. She gives her insight. She gives a seminar. I teach a couple. And then I would, especially this last season, we had Audrey Knox come out from the Cartel, and she's would listen to everybody's pitches and things like that. So I stayed behind before that happened and let people pitch to me, so I could sort of walk them through that process and what it's like, and sort of get their nerves out, before they did it for Audrey and everybody else. So it's really, really cool. It's called the Good Word Writers Retreat. Kathy is doing, we're not going to Greece this year, I don't believe. She just finished a Christmas retreat one. I don't write Christmas movies, so I didn't go to that one. And this year, I think she's doing Niagara Falls, and they're doing a romance writer retreat. And
nice.
I'm helping push for that. So if you want to learn how to write romance screenwriting, that's amazing. Go to it. I'm not going to that one because I write action kick your butt films. So
so what's and I want to get into different things with screenwriters too. I don't want to just make it to where, hey, if you're an actor, you do this. Sure. And I also want people to really go to your TikTok, go follow you, Screenwriter Chick, your Instagram and stuff like that. Cause these little nuggets that you give, it's like anything else, if you have this sort of advice to give and if you're smart, you're listening.
Yeah.
and you put all of those together, you know, if let's say, you know, you can't go to Niagara Falls or Greece or, you know, I don't know, wherever, and you can put those together, there's so much that you give people and they can glean it. And it's just wonderful, you know, what you get. But Marty, what is it like? Why did you want to get in this business in the first place?
When I really well, my dad worked for NBC, so I sort of grew up in television studios. So it was kind of always there. I shunned away from it. I did musical theater. I went into medicine. I did all this other stuff, right? But one summer, it was just the summer of freaking redos. I mean, it was like every movie that was released that summer was a redo of some 70s thing. I think Starsky and Hutch came out that year. Some other things, you know,
Knight Rider probably.
Yeah, 21 Jump Street. And I was just like, come on, you know? And so then I'm always this person who is like, well, if you don't like something, you need to change it. And so I was like, well, I could do this. I can do this. And so I found out, because I was working at Vanderbilt at the time, that they would let me audit a class every semester for free. And I was reading this book at the time called Your Screenplay Sucks, 100 Ways to Make It Great, which I cannot recommend enough, by William M. Akers. And it's one of my favorite books of all times. And I was reading this book, and when I was researching if they had a film program, and found out that they did, and they had a screenwriting program, he was the teacher. And I was just like, it's a sign, it's a sign. So
pretty big one.
Yeah. So I started working with him, and after a couple of semesters, he said, I think you're a director. And I was like, no, I don't want to direct. I just want to write and put my art in the world and get paid and walk away. They can do whatever they want with it at that point. He's like, I think you're a director. So he signed me up and paid my way to do a 24-hour film festival. Now, before that, I was so green. I didn't know that there were 48-hour film festivals. There's a 52-hour film festival. I'd never heard of these before. I just thought, okay, well, this is a competition, 24 hours, right? At 5 p.m., I pull a genre. I get all the equipment. I write, I direct, we film, I score, I, do everything in 24 hours, edit, color, whatever, in 24 hours. And I'm like, okay, I mean, I'll do it. I had no idea that that's not how you do it. So I was so green going in. I was like, let's try it. And I wound up winning. And he was like, there you go.
Told you.
Yeah. And I'm like, so he started having me direct a couple of things here and there. And I'm like, okay. So then I worked for him for a summer as his assistant, so I could see how he writes and his writing style, and would sort of figure out what he did that works for me and what he did that didn't. And then I wound up the next year, he goes, I think you're a producer. And I was like, oh my God, no way. I do not want to produce. And he goes, yeah, I think you're going to produce this film for me. And I did. And I was good. And I am really good at it.
Really?
I'm really good.
We're going to talk offline about that.
I love that. Good. Yeah. I mean, it's because I think 5 different scenarios for everything. I always have things mapped out. I know how to prepare and know how to talk to people and know how to calm people down. And that's because I worked in EMS, and they would always give me the psych patients. And so I very well prepared. So I wound up.
There's a study saying that entrepreneurs and that there's a screw loose. You know that?
I can totally see that.
That's very true. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. So I started doing that. I was doing things on my own. I won things that I needed to win. And then there just got to a point, especially after Wonder Boy, where it was like Nashville was becoming too small for me. And I don't want to be a big fish in a little pond. I want to keep growing.
Heck of a statement.
I moved to Atlanta. I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, I'm saying that like there are people that are dying to be able to say that Nashville was too small for me. And if people really understand Nashville, that is a hell of a statement. That is awesome. That's great. Well, it's its own animal. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So then I moved to Atlanta and I started working here. And then I'm very grateful actually because while I've been working on Will Trent, they allow me to direct the Georgia Film Incentive videos. I don't know if they ever get shown anywhere, but it's for us to get the incentives, and it has to be like a minute and a half. But I get to work with all of the actors, and I got to work with Betty, and I got the little dog, you know, and everything because it's not DGA, so I'm allowed to do that. So that's really been fun. So I've done that for 3 years now, and that's
cool.
Yeah, it really is cool. And I got to work. This was fun. We were filming a scene on Will Trent the other day, and I got to hang out with Cora Lutran, and she plays
on
Will Trent. And they told me that when I worked with them, that I made them feel so comfortable. And because she was so nervous to do an interview, it was her first interview ever, that I had made her feel so comfortable that she knew I was going to do really great things, because she knows that I'll be able to draw out performances out of people rather than pushing them into it and trying to just force things. And she said she was going to be my cheerleader forever. And I love her to pieces. Now we're going to go hang out.
I love it. I love that. Well, that's important, getting the why behind the why.
Yeah.
And being okay with it.
Yeah. And so now I told her about the feature that I'm supposed to direct this summer. And so she may play one of the roles in it. So here's hoping, because she's going to be.
Okay. I didn't mention that because I wasn't supposed to.
No, the
feature. I could have mentioned the feature.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, Marty is going to pretty cool direct the feature. Jeez. Marty,
you can also say, okay, I've just finished directing a pilot for a series that is being considered by a network. That's all I can say about that. So I can say that too.
And it's super cool. I can't wait for that. Oh my gosh. And there's certain people that are connected with that I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I
that's
need help with the water table. Like, I can definitely pour some great water.
I'm good with it. I'm very hopeful, but I also am very jaded. I want to see the contracts. I've pulled things before because I have not had contracts. So I want to see the contract. So that's where I'm at.
Well, and that's super important. And, when we do clips for the show, that's the one thing that we can take. One of the things that we can take away too, you got to see the contract. Like, when you start beyond when okay, I'm there and I'm doing it and I'm running. And then all of a sudden I've done things where there was no contract, thinking that it was going to be great and that it was going to help my career. And it just ended up not doing anything. So that's super important.
Yeah.
What is, here, and I want to ask this real quick because we have to. We just have to. So we're in different times, right? Like, than we have been historically.
Right.
You can't even look at, even like 10 years ago and say, oh yeah, well, it's the same thing. No, it's not. We are in a completely which in some respects is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Particularly with a lot of the things that we've gone through. I remember just being at different job sites, and if you're a person of faith, keep can't do this, can't say that, don't want to offend. And at this point, nobody cares, honestly, in the world of like corporate, right? Yeah. However, we're still navigating those waters of differing opinion, and they can be very, very heated, right?
Yes.
How do you, as a director, right? And first of all, what are your philosophies as a director? But how do you navigate these differing opinions when sometimes adults just forget they are?
Yeah. So I usually have a meeting with everybody before we even start. And for me, you know, like, again, I'm very uplifting and I'm very positive and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be great. I respect everybody here. The one thing that I'm going to ask you, please, 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 we will not, and I will not tolerate any political discussions on this set. This is the reason. People are polar opposites, and this is not the energy that we are going to entertain here.
Right.
We have come to do this. This is what we're going to do. This is the job. We're here to do the job. If you want to go off site afterwards and go have a beer together, go to the tavern and
do it.
Talk it up. Go for it. That's your own time. But when you're on my time and you're doing something for me, I get to make the rules. If you want to play in my sandbox and help me make this work of art, these are the rules. That's it.
This work of art and make this art work.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's almost like you're a writer.
Almost.
If
we don't make this art work, and you better take that. That's what. Yeah. Hey, I feel like, you know, because Erica, I'm training her to be a producer on the show.
Yeah.
Right. Just like Jamie, you know, like Joe has Jamie.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have Erica. Right.
Love it.
And I'm super excited. She's gonna start doing this.
Oh, yay.
Erica. Hey, Erica, can you pull up a Starbucks workplace? Would you please get me some coffee? Oh, yeah. I was trying to. No, I think the ice is fine. That's not part of her production role. That's just wifey stuff, which is kind of deep. No, but I'm super excited. She gets to have her to do that because Erica, you know, like she loves.
Oh yeah, she'll be great.
Finding things, you know what I mean? And you know, and she's a good fact checker.
She is.
Which is cool. Yeah.
She, you know, we met on Twitter of all things. And
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. And we just started, and it was because I was on Kevin Probably Saves the World. And she was like the number one fan. I loved it. You know?
That show. Now, speaking of like sort of being a person of faith, which you are, right?
Mm-hmm. I am.
I really love the fact, I mean, I'm not looking at a TV show to be doctrinally sound. You know, there's even some things that Dallas is doing. I don't know if you know this, I've known Dallas for a long time. Like long time.
Yeah.
You know, I knew Dallas before he got his proverbial ASS handed to him for that movie he did.
Which one?
I thought it was cool.
What
the
movie?
The one with Sean, the reincarnation. Okay, I did a show called The Reincarnation of Jamie Brown.
Okay.
Years and years ago. I was on it. It was at ACT in San Francisco. What I thought was really cool. Gavin Stone, the resurrection of Gavin Stone.
Okay.
And I remembered it as The Reincarnation of Jamie Brown. Show that I was in. Which do you know her? Lynn Alvarez?
I do not.
Do you know her?
Mm-mm.
I think you guys would really get along. She was really cool. Anyway, so as a woman of faith.
Yes.
Kevin probably was, that show was too good to survive.
That show was,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a really great show. I love the spiritual aspects of it. It could open up so many different avenues to so many different religions, actually, because they were pulling from so many things. However, they gave us the death slot, and which ironically they did to Will Trent too, but we had marketing for that.
Nice.
And then
what are they thinking? I'm sorry. You know what? Please feel free to defend. But Disney, look, I have family members that work for ABC. So, and for years, like, you know what I mean? Disney comes in and they do this thing, and it's like, I don't know. It's like somebody wakes up one day and goes, you know, I didn't like that episode. Let's bump them. And I swear to God, it has nothing to do with numbers. And even if it did, put some contributing factors on there. Like, oh, I don't know. Maybe it was up against the election night.
Maybe It was an election year, and we got bumped a lot for debates.
Almost like I know.
Yeah, we couldn't find any traction. They did give us the back nines, so we got to finish out the series, which is the last 9 episodes. And then we thought because they gave us that, we would, not be canceled, but they canceled us, and they wanted the showrunners to do a different sort of thing. And I can sidebar with you about that.
Yeah. And I can't wait to sidebar on that. But I just don't get it. Like, Kevin probably was not only did it solidify careers, it launched a lot of careers.
Mm-hmm.
And for just as a viewer, it was so nice to see something on a major network. And this is back when people gave a F. But it was on a major network that didn't, force atheism down your throat.
Right.
It also didn't beat you over the head with the Bible.
Right.
It was.
I really think it was before its time because it was offering hope. And
heaven forbid we offer any of that.
Well, I think if it was released around the same time Ted Lasso came out, it probably really would have done really well. And I think it probably would have done better streaming, but I'm not sure. I mean, you don't know. I mean, what happened. I have to be grateful because that launched my career over in Atlanta, and of course, I mean, I got to meet
it connected so many people.
Yeah. And then later on, I worked on Sweet Magnolias with Joe, who played his sister, in.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so that was cool because, it was like my first or second day, and she went to the producer and she's like, I heard Marty's here. Is Marty? And they were like, what is going on? And she gave me a big hug, and, it was like, oh, she's so sweet, and it's like, I worked with her before. She's great. Y'all be nice to her. And then everybody was nice. No, I'm kidding. Sweet Max, they have an absolute delightful staff that, you just work on things and people are just wonderful. And, it's got magic to it. That's definitely one of those shows. I had to go from that. And then I jumped onto Will Trent. And that's another show that we just have such a great crew, and everybody's just so great. I mean, like, I don't know, like the production designer helped me make an astronaut suit for Elijah so he could have, because he wanted a Wonder Boy space suit. So now Wonder Boy has a space suit. We're working on a diving suit right now. God help us.
I have different, like, how would I instantly saw me in a diving suit and I thought, oh God. Let's that. But here's the thing. And I hope this goes to who needs, because we have a pretty good audience. So I don't know everybody that watches, but I will say this. People are tired, even though it sells, of constant death, destruction, evil, all of that. And it's not just, the good guy beats the bad guy. No. Right. We're in a different age now. They're tired, and there's no more room for eggshells. I'll say it for me, not for you, but I'll say it for me. We don't, as an audience, we don't have any more room for eggshells. There, at the same time, I think we're shocked out, right?
Yeah.
I think, I'm not trying to go back to Leave It to Beaver, but you know what? I would love to see a character say, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes or no, sir. Right. And mean it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're in a day and time right now where we've gone so far to things that are, Marty, the whole world's been on a meth binge for about 10 years and we're over it.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to rehab. It's rehab time.
I wrote a series during COVID that I'm trying to get sold right now. So if there's anybody out there who wants to produce a series, let me know.
No.
But it's called Nomad, and it's about a girl who goes from town to town just doing nice things for people because her father was I don't hear you. I'm on hold, everybody. I see his lips moving, but I don't hear anything. Oh my gosh, I get to do a play-by-play. Oh, I'm going to do a bad lip reading. Okay. What happened? Let's see. To murder. I don't know. Flasted. I don't know. What? I'm doing a bad lip reading right now because I can't hear you at all. Let's see. Okay, he's going, Marty, there we go. I don't know. I don't even know what words he's saying. This is bad. Oh my goodness. This is so. Oh no, he's put his hands up over his mouth, you guys. Oh, and an eyebrow arch. Maybe. Nope, that's not it either. Oh my goodness. You guys, this is great. So I'm glad you all tuned in today to hear my stories about everybody. I can tell you some jokes, I guess. So these people are eating at a restaurant, and oh no, I shouldn't say this one. This is a bad one. I'm not going to do that one because people, I don't know if you would like it or not. But yeah, I do better with one-on-one. I don't know what he's saying. Are you talking? Can you hear me? You can hear me? I can't hear you at all. No, not at all. I've been doing bad lip readings for you. I can't hear you at all. No, I can't hear you at all. Okay, I don't know what he just said, but it looked like he said he needs to go poop. That's what it looked like. I do bad lip readings because I'm not deaf and I'm not trying to take anybody else's job. You need an ASL interpreter. See, now I get to go and advocate for this. Hello, he says. There you go. Okay. I don't know, but it looked like you're going to have like roast beef or something for dinner. I'm not sure. I know, sure, it would be good. Okay, or some salmon. Yeah? Okay. Salmon, damn it. I don't know. It looks like it looks like you were trying to rap. I mean, he had the whole head thing in there. Yo, walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I was in that left. There we go. I still can't hear you. Is that Erica? Hi, Erica. No, I still can't hear you. No. I mean, you guys, this is probably the ultimate prank. He's probably just faking like he's talking. And he's
okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, there he is. See,
oh, finally.
I caught on to him, and then he started talking. Do you see that, everybody? Mm-hmm.
No, you really can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Praise
I totally forgot what I was talking about now.
We were flowing so good. And I had to change it because this earbud was starting to die. And so, and then suddenly, Erica's over there playing a game. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I caught you. You're playing a game.
And it's great. She's going to be an amazing producer because
that's right.
Exactly what they do.
That's exactly
and then
what they do.
Yell at their assistants to go fix it.
Exactly. Okay, so what we're talking about is you were that you wrote a series.
Oh yeah. Her father sent her off, or both of her parents sent her off to a boarding school when she was 5. So she's basically never known her parents pretty much. He and his wife embezzled money, like it was like a Bernie Madoff thing, and bankrupted all these mom and pops, basically. He goes to jail, the mom dies, and then he uses up all of her college tuition in order for his defense. So she's basically penniless. So, but she's made like a best friend, and so, but what she does is she has everything in her car and she just goes from town to town to the victims. She's changed her name. She goes from town to town to the victims, and she does anything and everything within her power to make their lives better. So if it's a communication in a relationship, she teaches them how to communicate. If it's that they don't know how to balance their books, she teaches them how to balance their books. If they don't know how to actively market their company, she actively markets their company to help them get their income back. But it's it's a comedy. So it's kind of like Ted Lasso meets the Unbreakable
Highway to
Kimmy
Heaven.
Schmidt. Yeah, the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and with a little bit of Poker Face in there. So, and she's being chased down by a Boston Globe reporter because her father bankrupted his mother and she had a stroke when she lost all her money. So it's sort of like he's chasing her through the whole, but she doesn't know it. And it's a really good series. Anyway, it's called Nomad. But it's so uplifting, and the whole thing, the whole takeaway.
Wait, did you shoot this, or is
no?
this?
I wrote it. I wrote it.
I love this because I have a.
The whole
we
basis.
can definitely need a sidebar on this because I'm like, oh, there's so many things that I'm thinking of.
Yeah, because the whole basis that I want everybody to take away from is hope is brave, because we've been told no. Everybody's just been battered down for so long with COVID, with elections, with just
everything,
fear, and people are afraid to hope for anything because they think that there's no point in it, but there is, because it's an adventure, which is what she's doing. And so she's teaching people how to hope. So whenever she like walks into a room, like the colors brighten a little bit, and whenever she leaves, they kind of like settle. But by the end, it's the same color palette
this is like, okay. Can she go through like a military training thing?
Can she? If she needed to, she would. Yeah.
Like at some point in this whole journey, can she go through a military thing where she knows how to fight, she knows how to shoot, she knows the whole thing? And then, well, seriously,
maybe,
because, well, think about this. There are groups of people right now that have really drank the Kool-Aid. And they are causing some really bad stuff to happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking really bad.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
I mean,
it's happening like right now. So my point is, that's a real thing that's going on.
Yeah.
So what if she could learn how to do that stuff at some point in her past, and then these people that she's helping, it's not like so many people are after her.
Yeah.
But when people get in desperate situations, sometimes they meet not the greatest people.
Yeah.
And she's gonna at some point need to help out these people by learning how to fight and getting them out of this situation they're in. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I would have to see. We'd have to see.
It's like Highway to Heaven.
It's a comedy.
Oh, it can all be comedy. We have Highway to Heaven. What were the other shows that you mentioned?
Ted Lasso, Poker Face.
Ted Lasso, Poker Face, with a little bit of like Harley Quinn, but in a good way.
Yeah. No, she has her own issues that she has to deal with. And the reason why it's called Nomad.
She's nuts too. I love it.
Well, no, I don't see nuts. Like well, here's the thing. So because of her abandonment issues, whenever somebody says, I love you, you're definitely part of the family, she takes off.
Takes off. Yeah. Family is in
the middle of the night.
I love that.
Thing. Or it's like the whole Irish goodbye, or just like, we want you to work here forever. We love you. You'll always have a job here. And she's like, oh, I've got to go run to my car. She hops in her car and she's gone. She's on to the next episode. So
I love that.
And it's really cool because by the end, like she's also laid out this whole web of lies to keep her protected from that, so
as you would.
Yeah. So it's really cool. And then,
Marty, I love this. Yeah, I love this.
Me too.
This is so good.
I know.
But for everybody out there, a lot of times this is how stuff starts, gets written, or stuff starts to go. Or like if you're a musician, you're sitting around and chilling, and all of a sudden something comes to your mind and you have to write it down. Guys, it's amazing. This is art, and you got to make art work in order for the artwork to work. I love it. Right?
It's true. It's true.
Marty, oh, I love that idea so much. Oh my God. And it's written and you got it?
Yeah, it's
How is this not going into production?
I got to get it.
I love this.
I also have adapted 2 books by one is called Zeus is Dead by Michael Muntz, and it's absolutely hilarious. And it's about the Zeus obviously is dead, and the Greek gods can come down and they want to receive worship from humans, but we're all too caught up with social media. So that's a comedy. And it's so funny.
That's so good. Okay. I love that.
So there's that. And then the other one is called Unhappenings by Edward Aubrey. And we've worked on this for like a year and a half. And I've got the pilot written. I've got all the episodes mapped out. And I love this book. I found this during COVID. I reached out to him. He let me have the shopping rights. He's a great guy. But that's about basically a time traveling disaster magnet who never, ever learns his lesson. And so he just keeps shredding the timeline, and his daughter is in it. And you see her like different ages. Like you don't even realize it's her daughter until like episode 5 sort of thing. And she's the narrator, and she's just like, don't be like this jerk. Please don't be like it. We break the fourth wall. And it's so great.
And this is something you've written too. You got the pilot episodes mapped out.
Yeah.
These are the kinds of things we need.
Right.
You know,
I got sucked into that book because, you know, you hear about time travel and they're like, you can't exist at the same place twice. You can't do this. You can't, there's so many rules.
Who says no?
So, in this one, he's always popping in and talking to himself and screwing things up, which I love. And he's like, hey, he's like, you shouldn't do this. And then one time he's crazy and he's just like, I don't want to end up like you. And he's like, well, this is what I did. So when it comes time to it, he's just like, I should probably just do it this way. And even his daughter's like, stop.
You're really screwing stuff up.
Yeah. It's great. It's great. I mean,
I love this.
It's of course there's a girl and, a bad guy who's also a time traveler. And he's just like, he just wants to make his life hell. So he doesn't care. So he's like hopping all over the place and doing things. It's
just
really
shredding the crap out of it.
Yeah. I mean, his whole thing is he likes to go to battlefields and learn strategic things just to hurt this other guy. And then he just bombs things. Why not? Yeah. Let's just bomb him. He's almost worse than Hitler. So,
oh my God. I'm loving this.
Almost. I shouldn't say that. Hitler's really bad. And I'm Jewish. So don't anybody come for me for that, please. I needed to say that.
Well, again. Okay. That's the thing. We're in a situation where like we're in a time now where, and this is the way I feel about it anymore. It's like, look, I'm not walking on eggshells anymore. This is the way I feel about things, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
My thing is, and tell me if you agree or not, I vehemently disagree. I left X years ago. I started it for my band, really. Mm-hmm. And you know who the Winans are.
Yeah.
BBC, right? Well, so real close with their family. Jeremy Winans like my little brother, and he started my Twitter for me when Bradley Clark Band was just getting started, right? Okay. So I've had it since 2012. I just thought it was a awful place to spend time, like just terrible. I couldn't stand it. I came back recently. It's really interesting now because it feels a little more balanced. The thing is that I vehemently disagree with a lot of what's on there. Mm-hmm. However, I will fight to the death to make sure that those people that I disagree with have an opportunity to disagree.
Oh, absolutely.
And speak their piece.
Absolutely.
And that's what I'm saying. We're over all of that. And what I love about all of your ideas is that this is what I'm talking about. I don't know what it is, but let's get out of the mindset of these perfect heroes and this and that. What was the show that Tara was working on with the hero, Mr. America? He was like a Superman character, but he was really evil, but everybody loved him.
The Boys?
The Boys. Yeah. Not so much like that, but like the heroes are not perfect.
Right. And I hear what you're saying.
You see what I'm saying?
That I write, everything that I write, everyone is flawed because we're all flawed.
Yeah,
And
we're all flawed.
We have to, if you're screenwriting, you have to be able to make a person and that is easily engageable. Like you need to be able to see yourself in that person so you can root for that person somehow.
Yeah.
You might not understand it. You might not understand why you are rooting for this person, but if you see that this person has like an abandonment issue or detachment syndrome or whatever, and they're dealing with something, and it just makes them more 3D. And I think that there's just been everybody's pushing so hard to do so many remakes right now. You're losing that because these people have already been mapped out, but they've been mapped out in a different time when that wasn't important, if you want to say it like that. It wasn't as we have evolved to want to go on these journeys with people that will give us an emotional experience, will make us experience something, because we have been in nothing but fear and panic and pain for the past 5 years. So yes, I want to go and I want to experience the Avengers, or I want to go and I want to experience Kung Fu Panda because it takes me out into a whole different world that's happy, because we just need these, we just need a break.
Well, and here's the other thing too, like I will say the past 4 years have been the hardest of my life in every way. Also, it's been pretty great because God has shown up every single time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking every single time.
Right.
To the point where it's so evident it's God, because it certainly wouldn't have been anything,
facts.
That, I mean, just straight facts. Like, it's been amazing. But I remember, like, for example, I got into boxing because I loved Rocky.
Yeah.
Right. And even though there were things when I was a kid that I didn't understand, like overtones of the first one, it's like, well, I don't know why did you do that. I still was inspired. And even when I quit boxing because of an injury,
mm-hmm.
It's still like when I'm up against it, you know what I mean? I still hear Eye of the Tiger.
I kickbox, so yeah, heck yeah.
So which is dope. We need care, and everything that you told me in the audience today, that has the ability. Those characters have the ability, even through a comedy and this and that. And I'm tired of the dad being stupid and bumbling. And, I'm sick of that. Mm-hmm. How come we can't have, if people are going to be married, how come we can't have something to where they're a team? And, maybe not even like, Dick and Jane, or I forget what that was about, but, or like a CIA couple. None of that. Mr. and Mrs. Smith. I'm talking about, what? Let's have something where we can aspire to that. They're not perfect, but one helps the other where the other one's weak. I swear, if I see one more 5'1", 98-pound woman beat the living hell out of an actual kickboxer, I swear to God, it's just like, oh Jesus. I'm talking about everybody that it's just over. I'm over. I'm so over it. When the people that this character, see the people, I already called them people.
Mm-hmm.
The characters that you described of these shows that you've written and adapted, that's what I'm talking about. Even if it's a comedy, that can inspire you.
Yeah.
The first thing when we were talking about the show with the girl who goes around helping people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but I've had that thought where it'd be kind of neat if I had all the money in the world, and I could just do that. That would be really dope.
Right.
But she's working out her own issues while helping someone else. That's the overtone. Mm-hmm. We have lost the ability to say, that we actually will do something for our country rather than having our country do something for us. To quote JFK, kind of. What I'm saying is that you can't work out anything if you're not willing to serve everyone.
Yeah. Well,
it comes down to service.
People don't like being uncomfortable at this point. Everybody's gotten trophies, and nobody's learned how to lose, and nobody's learned how to lose when they should have won, and it's not fair, but they have to deal with it anyway. Nobody's taught people how to do that.
Or how do you deal with winning when you know you should have lost?
That would,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
that's a big deal.
Like a character thing for me,
Oh my God.
But I will say, like whenever I write, and you'll see this every single time, you'll see whatever project that I am pulled to or drawn to, I will set my hand to. It will always be some form or fashion of an underdog, and always rising above some sort of odds, getting knocked down and rising above some sort of odds. I mean, Will Trent has dyslexia. He's constantly battling that, but he's overcoming it. Nomad with Melinda, she's dealing with past trauma from all of that. She's running away from it is what it is, but she thinks that she's healing things by doing this, but she's really just running away. And one day she's going to have to actually deal with it, and she will. Cool. The same thing with unhappenings. Like Nigel keeps screwing up everything, and one day he's going to actually have to take responsibility for it, and he will, with maybe good results or maybe bad results. It might be tragic. Maybe we don't know. Depends on the timeline at that point.
Oh, Marty, we need these shows. We really, really do, especially because we've become such an entertainment-centric society. We need these shows. If we don't, I don't know. I can't watch another show about making a show.
My goal is to have my own studio, right? Steampunk Lily Studios. And then I want to have my own streamer, or maybe I'll just buy Netflix and name it Marflix. Maybe I'll do that. I love that. But I want to be the one to be able to greenlight the things that I know that people actually do want to see, because I'm done with doom and gloom. I don't want to do anything like that. I'm done with, I don't want to say that, but just.
I know what you're talking about.
Negative things that
negative stuff.
Yeah. I don't want to invoke sadness in people. I don't want to invoke hopelessness in people. If you work with me, or if you see anything that I do, it's always going to have a message of hope. It's always going to be like, everybody's going to get through this. You might hit rock bottom. Everybody hits rock bottom. Everybody has a tower moment. Everybody, has to deal with crap, but you just keep going. Like everybody here who's listening to this has survived the worst day of their life, and they just thought about what that is. And here you are. You're a champ. And so that's what you're going to walk away with. And that's what I want to share. My old goal is to get to a place where I can make things that move people into positivity and hope, into believing in themselves.
I'm going to get out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Like who says these people don't determine your trajectory? You get to do that for yourself. So that's what I want to do. And by doing so, I want to obviously make money so I can have foundations that can help people, to give people hope. That's my whole goal in life, is to be able to do this and give back to the people.
Marty, we need to make this happen, because I need to watch something that makes me emotional again. I want to watch something that I can feel, I want to be able to feel an anointing on something real.
Yeah. Well, I'll send you.
I want to be even beyond that. I want to look at something and say, I'm going through the worst moments of my life right now, but because I watch Nomad, I can do it.
Yeah.
What if we're fighting our own stuff?
Yeah.
Right. And we're making things better because we have to, because for our souls.
Yeah.
Right. And we're just moving from one situation to the next, and it feels so hopeless and you feel so lost. But I'm going to fight, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Marty, we need these. And whoever is in the sound of my voice, look, and you're going to get a copy of this podcast too.
Okay.
Chop it the hell up. And I am telling you, put it everywhere, because I need people to know that if someone is going to do it, it's going to be Marty King Young.
Aw, yes. And I received that. I definitely
serious, yeah.
I will send you the pitch deck for Nomad, so you can read it too. I think you'll like it.
I can't wait. Yeah. Marty, I want to talk all day and all night. You probably want to get to the Super Bowl at some point, because it's happening now, I think.
Is it?
Or something.
Oh, it's another hour. We got another hour.
We got another hour? Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah. Kick it back. Bring me a beer.
Yes, I need a beer. And, but I just love it. I love the idea that, and I don't know what's going on. You'd know better than me.
Yeah.
What if are people just kind of stuck? I don't like, it can't be by design that people are like, the people in entertainment, green lighting stuff that is just mind numbing and awful, and canceling stuff that is really good. I don't believe that's happening. But that's what people say, that because they're not seeing anything out there that really inspires them anymore. They're not seeing, you know what I mean? And the stuff that they do see that really gets them going, it's gone.
Yeah. Well, I think right now, we are still reeling from the strikes, reeling. I mean, that just plugged the pipeline, plugged it.
Sure.
Stuff that was really good, that was about to get made, that was innovative, got cut, because now they're just going back to doing safe things that they know that people have seen before, and
it'll work.
Yeah, it'll, it already has an audience. That's the way they're looking at it. Whereas, if you get something that's new and it's got a huge budget, like, you won't see a lot of fantasy very much for a while, I don't think, other than the Lord of the Rings, or the Rings of Power. There's obviously already an audience for that, so that one is still going to keep going. But there's not going to be any new fantastical worlds right now, because of that. And so it's just, people are scared, and people are just trying to play it safe.
Yeah, I think Taylor Sheridan has done so well because it's perceived that he's covering both sides of the spectrum, right? You have, and that's the way most people are. Nobody is, you know what I mean? Like, they're a mix of all of this.
Sure.
But I think that's part of the reason why he's been able to hit the way he has, is because, like, this show, Landman, and I haven't seen it. I've just seen bits of it.
So good.
Is it what? Is it good?
Yeah, it's really good.
Well, I've been in oil and gas. I know all about it. And to have Billy Bob Thornton up there tell, this granola lawyer about, are you sure you really want to go there? Well, fine, find something else that, he broke it down in an amazing way. You have that monologue, Jerry Jones of all people. I mean, I'm sitting there going, and I saw this on TikTok, and I'm like, that's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Right. So when you're describing stuff that you're working on or have written, it sounds, and I only say this because we're talking about Sheridan. It has the overtones of that, to where it's hard hitting, it's real in a very unrealistic way to go. Like the highway to the Nomad. That's my favorite so far. I love that idea. I just absolutely love it.
Thank you.
But it has that element where, if we're talking about, we don't live in a black and white world and it's gray, that's fine. what does that look like?
Yeah.
For real. And can we put that in someone's living room?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Thank
it
you.
only comes out of, I mean, you know, Taylor Sheridan's story, like he goes to college and then his mom loses the ranch. And so, you know, real broad stroke, but it was taken from her, really. You know, it seems to me that people that know real pain, this is the quote, or the sort of, not a quote, but I don't know, something that I try to tell people because they don't understand me being sort of, you know, nice, you know, and I say, listen, you'll never know the amount of violence that it takes to make a man this gentle.
Right.
And that's your story too.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know if it's the pain per se. I mean, it is. I mean, I've gone through a lot. You're not wrong, but it's just as a person before, even before I was a writer. I mean, I've always written, even when I was younger, you know, I would always write things, but I want to get to the truth. That's it.
Right.
I want to know the truth of the person. So that's why you'll see me, if people start following me on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, you're going to see me hammering on characters and their wounds, because it's the truth of who the person is. Because if you don't get the character and you can't find out what's making that person tick, you can't watch them go on a journey. You won't understand the journey. You won't understand why it was so important for them to walk away from this person. It was just a blonde girl. No, it wasn't. That was a person who saved his life, or, you know, whatever. And so but that's always been like me too. Like when I'm in a relationship, I'm like, I want to know where we stand in this relationship. Are we friends? Like, what's going on? Are we, you know what I'm saying? Like when I sign on to do a show, I want the contract. I want to see the truth of what this is going to be. I want everything mapped out, but that's just me. That's just me. But when it comes down to what we're watching, we're tired of seeing the same old thing. We're tired of seeing, I just did a TikTok actually on I don't know how the algorithms work around here, but use your rhyming words and your Blues Clues. But grape is not a genre. SA is not a genre. There are more things to women that emotionally stunt us than being SA'd in a freaking alleyway, you know, after a movie or something, or in our house, or being attacked. There's more to us, believe it or not, than being SA, because we deal with people pestering us all the time. There's more things that make us who we are, and it's not just getting attacked. So, you know, I'm tired of seeing that. I'm tired of seeing
that.
I'm tired of seeing women assassins being written to always have their hair down and never pulling it back, and fighting in heels. Who the fuck does that? I would never. If I knew I was going in to kill somebody, my hair would be in a bun. I don't want anybody to be able to grab it. I'll be going in there, doing the business, and leaving. Not that I would ever do that, everybody. I do not have that much rage in me. I do.
Neither does the assassin. That's what makes them so dangerous. They're not rage-filled people.
Oh,
you know,
you're quite true. I mean, I do feel things, but
I mean, I have exhausted my last F, and I got rid of the nerve that the entire world was dancing on.
There, you know what? You're probably have a lot more peace now too because of that.
Right. Yeah. It once you do that, it's better than like Wellbutrin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's way better than Paxil, but it's so terrible.
Well, I'm just
this is not medical advice, but I'm right there with you. You know, that's the other thing. Paring down a woman to a set of traits. Really? Yeah. Are you serious?
Right.
Like,
I'll use myself as an example. So I was never SA'd as a child or anything like that. My father was emotionally abusive, and it was unintended. He didn't know that he was emotionally abusing me, But he was. I mean, I'm 7 years old one day. We're walking into an old store called TG&Y, and we're in Mississippi, and there is a crack in the pavement, and there's some grass, and there's a little dandelion growing in it. Okay. And he stops and he goes, Marty, come here, look at this. So I stop and I look, and he goes, you know the difference between you and this dandelion? And I said, no. And he said, this dandelion tries. And I was 7, and that stuck to me. And that is exactly the type of trauma that you have to deal with. You don't even realize it. But I've gone through like shadow work and all type of crap to realize that because if he would say things like that, all of a sudden it made me feel like love was conditional, that I would have to perform for it, that I needed a person's validation, which I don't need any of those things. You know, it's all about who I am now. I mean, I've gotten over it, but it's that type of thing that creates all of this to make a woman so complex. And it's just such cheesy and lazy writing to sit there and say, oh, it's because she got essayed. No, that's not the only thing that happened, you know, because I had a happy childhood.
I love that.
I'm going to say that. I mean, my parents stayed together. They never divorced. They probably should have. But, you know, but, you know, it's like that thing, that memory is like, and I was just like, how do you, and it was, I specifically at that point where I started pulling away, I couldn't talk to my dad. And we had a rift from then on, because I didn't believe, I mean, he didn't know me.
From 7 years old?
7 years old. And you say that to your 7-year-old child, you know,
Man, I don't know.
It just said, you know, you don't know me. Number one. Number two, you don't care to know me. And number three, why didn't you ask me about it? Like, I was always like, why didn't you ask me? What are we talking about? You know, like, try at what? At life? Like, I was in gymnastics. Are you talking about gymnastics? Like, what are you talking about? And he just like, let's go inside. And it was just like, okay, that was like a sucker punch.
So you asked him about that at some point, where it's like, what did you even mean?
No, I never did, because he was always very, very grumpy. He hated his job. Well, he didn't hate his job. He didn't know how to, he was a sycophant to his bosses. So he would come home very frustrated because he was not being his authentic self. And so he would have to put on a mask all day. And when we would come home, he would take off that mask per se and just be screamy and yelling. And
was he a producer?
He wanted to be one. He got invited to actually come out and help produce The Mummy, the first one with Brandon Fraser and Rachel Weisz.
Mm-hmm.
But he would self-sabotage, and he goes, no, I can't do that. They wouldn't know. Me and my mom wouldn't know how to live in New York while it was being filmed or whatever. And I was just like, bull crap. And he would always do that. He would get like right to a point of being successful, and then he would self-sabotage because it was more comfortable to remain miserable where he was. Yeah. Cause that is the comfort he knew. And see, I'm able to take all of that and put that into characters, because that's who people are.
I love that.
That's what people deal with. So I'm always like looking for the truth of it. And maybe that happened just so I would be like that, because it was like, what are you talking about? Like, why? I'm 7. What is the truth of what you're saying?
Like, try at what?
Yeah.
That was my first thought. To try at what? I wonder if somebody said that to him.
I mean, I don't know, but I was just
at one point.
I don't know. I mean, his dad died when he was 12. And he grew up with two older sisters. So he was the baby. And my grandmother had to work at the police station, to make ends meet. So she was a single mom. She never remarried. And he was raised by 2 older sisters who would bully him. So he in turn bullied me, basically. So, I mean, it is what it is. He's long gone.
People are such a trip.
I know.
Right?
I know.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, people are weird, you know what I mean?
But we're so complex, and it's not, we're not cookie cutters. It's not just because this one thing happened, like, oh, my parents died when I was a kid, so I'm going to turn into Batman. Okay, that's been done.
You could have just as easy turned into not Batman.
Right. Right.
Like,
Which I
you know
think
what I
that is
mean?
like
Like,
one of the most overshot scenes is that stupid scene
oh,
with
Chris
Martha
with
with the
Christian Bale.
pearls. Yeah. That's the most overshot scene ever. Like, okay,
Dude.
here it comes. I could go to the bathroom right now. His
Right,
parents
because they're going to be dying for the next 20 minutes. So, you know what I mean? You get the
yeah. Yeah, and it goes slow-mo. You're
it's like,
where they're walking along.
you know which one I mean, I hated this movie.
Oh my God.
Like, and I wanted to love it. I really did. I wanted to love it. It had one of my favorite actors of all time in it.
Who?
I really wanted to love it. Russell Crowe.
Okay.
Can you tell? You know what I'm talking about?
Is it Gladiator?
No, I love that movie. Are you kidding me? That's a good movie.
Well,
Noah.
I couldn't go see that.
Ooh,
I personally
so bad.
see I
I
personally
walked out.
yeah. I heard about that. I personally believe that if you are going to take a story from a spiritual book, you should not be an atheist to that religion. So I had a hard time with that. Like I would never go and try to
Rock
do it
people.
without Buddha, without contacting Buddhists and having them on set, probably.
Right.
You know,
I mean, they had rock people, Marty.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah,
rock people.
Golems. Or
That
whatever.
was it. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't take it anymore. And my thing is that it's such an amazing story. Like you can get into the complexity and really do a lot with that story as it's written.
Mm-hmm.
You have to add rock people, bro.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's stuff like that where it's like, oh, today or last night, I was talking to my mom and my aunt about, our roots, right? And my aunt, she's got these great stories about, people that she knew when she was a little girl, and these, and if you look at it, these people were only 3 generations away from major events. Like, for example, my 5th great grandfather is Jacob Dolson Cox, and you could call him General Jacob Dolson Cox, or you can say governor, or you can say congressman, or all of that.
Right.
And my aunt really didn't know that he was her 4th great grandfather. All she knew is that there was a lot of land. I mean, as a writer, you probably know who this is. You might not, but Kenyon Cox, one of the most prolific writers in America ever. And that, I guess, would he be a cousin? I don't know. But one of his brothers is my, I guess, 4th great grandfather. Right. And then my 3rd great grandfather was the one that my aunt knows. Okay. 3rd or 2nd 3rd. And then you got to her grandparents, which are my great grandparents. Anyway, we were talking about different things, and I was letting her know about these people. Pretty dope, right?
Yeah.
And then she goes, well, then that's why Poppy Cox got a new truck every year. Like that was his thing. He always got a brand new truck. And we start going through different things and then different things that are happening in the family now. And and my mom, she told me something. She said, well, you're going to be really upset if I tell you. And I said, well, what is it?
Yeah.
She tells me, and I'm like, start laughing. And I said, for all of you that had something to say about any relationship I was ever in, screw you. You know what I mean? And she starts laughing. And and it's just such a human story.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't condemn any of them. I have forgiven them. And you look at these stories and you go back, what brought my grandfather, however long, to West Virginia? Why didn't he stay in Ohio? And what took J.D. Cox to Massachusetts? And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's such a human story.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's, you know, that's what the audience, that's what we need right now. We need human story. Nothing is just, and you know what? If it is, I love it. Somebody wants to be, you know, and they are perfecto, perfect, great. I love it. Be that.
Yeah.
Because it's rare. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's probably some bodies in a basement somewhere.
I mean, maybe.
There's no perfect.
But you know what I'm saying? Good for them. But the thing is the human stories. We're so complex. We're so, you know, we're so marvelous in our imperfection.
Right.
You know.
And it's the truth of who they are. It's the truth. That's the story. See, that's what you get invested in. It's not the plot. It's not even the theme. It's who they are. That's why it's so important for even a director to sit down and when they start reading the script to make notes, come up with a backstory, talk to your actor, come up with a backstory that they can have. I create packets for my actors so they can understand. And I write full like short stories about this is a memory that they have that they've been dealing with. This is what they did when they were 15. This is what happened, you know, for this or that. I worked on a short film that I did called Stolen. It was when my daughter was 9, she went missing. And she was only missing for a few hours, thank God.
Like for real?
Yeah, for real. Okay. And I cannot tell you the terror it is to pick up a phone call or to pick up a phone, dial 911 and have to say the words, "My child is missing." I cannot even tell you the absolute sheer terror that I was feeling at that time, because when she went missing, it was around a couple of weeks around when Elizabeth Smart also went missing. And I woke up and the house was freezing cold and our sliding glass door was open and all the boys were in bed and she was missing. I mean, just flat out not in the house. And I was just like, it was like 4:00 in the morning. What? Right. So we found her. Everything was fine. She had sleepwalked into and gone up to the treehouse and fallen asleep back up there. So we found her. Everything was fine. However, I wrote this basically to get it out of me. And Stolen is about the 2 parents. Their daughter is missing. And the father is the positive side of everything I was thinking. She's going to be fine. She's coming back home. She's going to do this. And the mom was all the bad thoughts that I was thinking, like, oh my God, I can never move. If she's missing, I can never move. We can never leave this house because this is the house she'll know to come back to.
She'll know to come back to.
Phone call. I can never change my phone number. You know, I'm going through all of these things in my head. How am I going to do this? What am I going to do? You know, because all of that. And then the other person that was in the movie was a detective. So I downloaded the detective manual from the missing children's, whatever it is, missing
exploited children.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And I gave her that detective kit. So she had that to go through. For Todd, the guy who played the dad, I gave him all of these Amber Alert things that said child found, child found, child found, child found. And I gave him that. And I said, I want you to look at all of these kids that have been missing. And I want you to realize that they've all been found, because he's the one who's presenting the hope. And for Buffy, I gave her, God help me. I said, don't open this until the last minute. And it was photographs from crime scenes of unalived children. And I gave her that. And so that was their packets. And so everybody was doing great. Buffy was almost there to give me what I wanted. And so I said, give me 2 seconds or give me 2 minutes with her. And I found the packet and I walked up to her and I pulled out one of the pictures and I said, and I gave her daughter's name, you know, and I was like, look at this. This is your daughter, you know, and she just stared at it for a second and she goes, okay, I'm ready. And so, and after that, it was like, I'm so sorry. You know, after I did that, but it got her into that place. And yeah, it was if you're trying to help your actors, you do things to help your actors. You know, it matters to understand the complexities of the character, to be able to provide aid to your actors, but also allow them the freedom to be able to do whatever they want with it too. But you still the underlying truth of who they are, so they can have something to play with. Because actors are very vulnerable, and actors are skittish, and actors, some of them are scared to jump out and make any type of to go off book. Some of them are scared to do anything different, to come up with their own ideas, because they like being directed, because that's safe. Also, they can blame the director if it didn't come out right. Then you've got other other actors who are great with ad-libbing and going with it, you know. And it's
let me ask you, are they usually older?
No.
Really?
No. It just comes down to their psyche. It really does.
Interesting.
To who they are, because if they're, you know, gosh, working with some, once I realize, I'll have meetings with the actors, and once I have a good meeting with them and I've vibed with them a little bit, I can pretty much figure out who they are and what makes them tick. And when I realize that, I'm going to know how I talk to them is going to be, it's just for them. Because how I talk to you would be very different about how I talk to Erica. And how I talk to Erica would be very different as how I talk to Buffy or Carla or Alice or Emily, you know, or Judy, you know, any of those.
Sure.
So you just have to.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. You being a director is not just walking in and going, okay, everybody's going to do this. Being a director is, I'm going to be the therapist for the day. This is what I want, but I need to actually know how you work so I can draw this performance out of you the way that I need you to do it. You know,
I loved that you had the idea, because, you know, here's the thing. She probably had never, like, she doesn't know what that hurt feels like, or that, not the hurt, but that terror feels like yet. Yeah. Right. Because I mean,
I hope nobody ever does ever again.
Well, so my mom tells a story. We were traveling, and we were at, you know, as my mom was a gospel singer, my dad was an evangelist, and we were visiting this pastor my dad was speaking at, and they were in Irving, Texas. They had this house just had like 10, 15-foot ceilings and real thick curtains. You know, it was the 70s, you know, and I was like 4, and I got behind the curtain and they couldn't find me. And my mom freaked right the hell out, like what you were talking about. Yeah. And I came and I thought I was in trouble. Right. But she was freaking out. Right. If you don't know that hurt, that terror, that pain, then you're not going to be able to deliver a real strong performance. And you know that if it's not believable to you as somebody who like hasn't experienced that, can you imagine how unbelievable it's going to be to somebody that has? Right. And the fact that you had so, you know, oh my God, Marty, everything we talked about today. And I'm not even like, look, I'm not trying to, if it sucked, we'd move on to something different. Well, well, you know, that Super Bowl is.
I am going to loving that a little bit, because I'm already getting.
No, well, I was going to wrap it up, but this isn't the last time you're going to come on.
No, it can't be. It's not.
Because I mean, this is like the first introductory Marty. You know what I mean? And we still have to get into things about, you know, folks' career. You know, I want to do that, and I want people to really be able to understand who they're talking about when they're talking to you, and when they go and visit your social media, you know, at Screenwriter Chick, and that's like across the board.
It is with no K.
With no K, well, right? Yeah.
And on Twitter, it's like no E's in screen. It's really weird how they made me do it, but it's usually.
Oh, it's really? I've never really
it's like
paid attention to that.
SCRN writer chick CHIC.
Have you been watching? Do you get me on your feed?
Yeah.
I bet. Oh, have you been enjoying it?
I like your
just
TikTok.
like I don't care anymore. I'm just like
the scream.
My TikTok, dude. You know why? What I do on TikTok is I like the video, and so when I do a video, I'll do it on TikTok because not so much to the filters. I mean, there's only so much you can do, but I just like the way they do it.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
And so that's all I do it for. But my my Twitter has been on fire lately.
Hilarious. No, I tried to do Snapchat, but I just cannot understand how to do that. It's just
I don't understand.
I can understand the pictures, but even then, I can't do, like, I tried to upload a video and it broke it up into like 40 different pieces, like one of my Wisdom with Scouts. And I was like, and for those of you who don't know, Wisdom with Scout is me walking the executive producer's dog, Scout. So that's what that is.
And I loved it all the time. So you're like, okay, here we go. We're going to, and I'm going to give you these tips on how to be a better screenwriter with me and Scout. Come and check us out. I really rhymed, and I didn't mean it to do it that time. Oh, well, that's stupid. Sorry. Anyway, guys, check out Marty at on Instagram, Twitter, and X. And that's my dog that just wanted to say hi. And on TikTok, especially TikTok's great. And Marty,
yes,
just an absolute pleasure. And thanks for finally coming on. And it's not going to be the last time.
I hope not. This is fun.
So no, it's not. We're going to book it when we're done here. But guys, know this. I'm speaking for the entire team with Work Your Career Wednesday. Me, Erica, Steven, Casey, just everybody. And Marty, know this, that we love you and God bless you. Let his face shine upon you and give you great peace. Be excellent to yourself and each other. And go follow Marty. Go watch Kevin Probably. Go watch Will Trent. And hey, you know what? Encourage her to get these other shows done because I, for one, need it. All right?
Great ears. From your lips to God's ears.
We'll talk soon, guys. Love you. Talk to you later.